Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Surf for Beginners, lesson 3. And inshallah, in this lesson, we will cover the past tense verb, and which in Arabic is fi'l madi. Fi'l is verb, madi is past tense. The past tense verb fi'l madi describes actions that have already occurred. The following pattern with a fatha on each letter is used as a model for the fi'l madi. Fa'ala, right to left. Fa'ala is the base, right? And verbs in English language are conjugated to reflect the subject of the verb. For example, he did and we did. Here the pronouns he and we indicate the subject. Arabic verbs are conjugated in a similar manner. In particular, the Arabic verb is conjugated to reflect three aspects of its subject. One, person, either its first, second, third, gender, masculine or feminine, plurality, singular, dual, or plural. So basically what they're saying is that whenever you have an Arabic verb, it's gonna, it's gonna have, it's gonna fall into, in each category, it's gonna, it's either gonna be first, second, or third person, and either it's gonna be masculine or feminine, or it's either gonna be singular, dual, or plural. Let's take fa'ala, the base pattern, for example. Fa'ala means he did, right? So that'd be third person, masculine, singular. Okay. And while English verbs are conjugated by placing a noun or a pronoun before the verb, Arabic verbs are conjugated by adding designated letters to the end of the verb, which we'll see later on in the slideshow. Active versus passive. Active, Zaid wrote a book. That's an example of an active verb, right? Passive would be a book was written, right? So the subject is not mentioned, just the object. The base for the passive fi'l madi is fu'ila, right? So what was for the active? It was fa'ala. For the passive, it's fu'ila. Principle 2, establish that verbs in the active voice are conjugated to reflect the subject of the verb. When conjugating verbs in the passive voice, each conjugation reflects the person, gender, and plurality of the object and not the subject of the verb. Like I said, when you're dealing with the passive verb, it's dealing with the object. It's dealing with the book and not dealing with Zaid, right? So so like the past tense fu'ila is he was done, right? Or he was done, versus he did would be the passive, right? So it deals with the object, and so the conjugation is the verb is conjugated depending on the person, gender, and the plurality of the object for the passive verb. And note that the active and the passive verbs use the same endings. Okay. Placing the word ma before both the active and the passive voice negates the past tense verb. Okay, so it becomes he did not do, or he was not done. So the latter is for the passive, because it was he was done, he was not done. If you put a ma before it, so ma fa'ila or ma fa'ala. And here are the conjugation table. You have to memorize these. It's very important for surf. This is like the main part. You have to memorize it from top to bottom. فعل فعلا فعلوا فعلت فعلتا فعلنا فعلت فعلتما فعلتم فعلتي فعلتما فعلتن فعلت فعلنا. Sorry, just kind of get cut off a little bit. It's فعلنا, okay? And the translations are right below them, right? And it's either singular, and this is singular masculine, dual masculine, plural masculine, right? So in Arabic you have singular, you have dual, and plural, right? So that it's not just singular and plural, right? It has that extra dual in there. So just keep that in mind, inshallah. And here are the suffixes that are added. Just showing you what letters are added to get that conjugation. And here are the active, passive, the active voice with negation, and the passive voice with negation. And each row you should memorize from top to bottom. Okay. And that's like the most important part, inshallah.